Moses is not the real name. That's the made-up name. It really was Pharaoh Akhenaten, who was...
I struggle with this because Billy says that Akhenaten worshipped Amun-Ra. As far as I'm aware, he worshipped Aten. The other problem we've got is Moses was found in a basket, which means we don't know who his parents are. However, Akhenaten, if he was Moses, we actually know who his parents are. They're in the British Museum, and his grandparents were in the British Museum. All of his lineage from his great-grandparent has elongated skulls, including Tutankhamun, which was his son, and Nefertiti, his wife. So how he got the conclusion that Akhenaten was Moses, I would really, really like to see that. If you could point that to me, Billy, if you're watching, thanks.
Conditioned. So this person's talking about God, and I've already mentioned to look certain places for evidence, such as the evidence that Enki told Noah, the evidence of the Anunnaki creating humans, the evidence of Enki saying having the seventh day off, the evidence of Nibiru, the evidence of Adapa or Adam going to Nibiru, and so on and so on. This person's not really interested in that because all they keep coming back with is scriptures this, scriptures that, conditioned. So this is the problem. They're saying that I should be looking at the Bible. I have looked at the Bible, and Genesis 1:26, plural, Elohim, plural. So this person hasn't actually done their homework properly by looking everywhere else. And unfortunately, now this person is trying to argue with me, who's done both sides of the argument, Bible and Anunnaki, and came to my own conclusions. But this person's very, very conditioned. It's sad.
I'm going to tell you how they built the pyramids and how they built other ancient sites that we can't recreate today. So, the Temple of Luxor has quartz in it. The Sun Temple of Konark has quartz in it. Petra in Jordan has quartz in it. These are sites that we can't recreate today because they are so massive and heavy. But they've all got quartz in, right down to the Great Pyramids of Menre in Sudan. The list just goes on and on. Angkor Wat's got quartz in it, and quartz is something that you can levitate using a particular type of levitation. It's hard, but it can be done. The Taj Mahal, Stonehenge, Teotihuacan, Coral Castle, Machu Picchu, the Great Wall of China contains quartz. You wonder how they moved them? Are you really saying it was ancient people all around the world that we can't recreate today? Quartz is the key.
So this person's mentioned that Enki's son, Thoth, which would have been Ningazida, this is what this person's saying, I'm going to leave my comments till the end, was a reptilian, and Enki wasn't. So you can figure that one out yourself. So I asked for evidence of that, obviously, as I do, because it's not true from my evidence, and this person's told me to go follow someone else, but the point is, you can tell me where the evidence is because you've followed that person clearly to be able to point me to that person. So instead of going to tell me to point to someone, I can tell you where everything is that I tell you on my videos. I don't need someone else to go and tell you. So you tell me from what you learn where the evidence is for Thoth being the son of Enki and being a reptilian compared to Enki that's not. When you realise you can't give me the evidence, feel free to follow and subscribe and like and make me tea.
I'll tell you why the Egyptians did not build the pyramids. This is a list of things that they actually wrote about, true things in ancient texts, religious beliefs, historical events, myths, but these were actually things that happened elsewhere. Mainstream will call them myths. Administrative records, legal matters, you'll get the point in a second. Wisdom, literature, mathematical, medical, hieroglyphic inscriptions, love poetry. Agriculture, military campaigns, construction, burial practices, daily life activities, and that includes breakfast. You're starting to think, hang on a minute, where's the mention of the pyramids? Bearing in mind there's so many pyramids out there in Egypt alone, let alone around the world. And of course there's no evidence whatsoever of how the pyramids were built. And yet we've got everything that you can think of that they wrote about except for the pyramids, and that's because the pyramids were built before they were able to read and write, and that's because someone else built the pyramids around the world.
Another racist person, I'm getting fed up of it. Just enough now, stop. You're never going to win in the history debate about who built the pyramids. You're never going to prove that black people built the pyramids because there is no evidence whatsoever of who built the pyramids. None. Thousands of pyramids around the world. So you would have, if you're saying that black people have to build the pyramids, then they would have had to have gone to Italy. There's pyramids in Italy. They would have had to gone everywhere. So please stop trying to make it sound like black people have to build the pyramids, 1,000 pyramids around the world. So the only reference to the pyramids is in the Lost Book of Enki, which was translated to tablets by Zachariah Sitchin, who says that it was one of the Anunnaki that built it. So there's no evidence whatsoever. So please stop trying to make it seem like we're racist when there's no evidence. And I go by evidence. It's kind of getting tedious now with this racism stuff. Stop it. Thank you.
Enuma Elish, and another one known as the Adapa Tale of Adapa. And
this gentleman in the full video, if you want to watch it, says that before humans there were these towels. One of them was the Enuma Elish, which is correct, and the other one was the Adapa Towels. Unfortunately, this person has got it kind of mixed up because the Adapa Towels is referring to Adam. Adam, as in Adam and Eve, was an offspring off of Enki and a human woman. Therefore, it wasn't when only the gods were here, it was when later on when there was humans and gods. So when he said the Adapa Towels was only when the gods were here, he's wrong. I don't like knocking people down, but obviously Adam was an offspring off of humans that they'd already created 2,000 years before. So yeah, sorry, I don't like doing this, but I just want the correct information out there.
A lot of people actually fall into the same trap that this person's done. So this person's commenting on a video I done about the fact that all the ancient monuments and buildings around the world, there's over 1,000 pyramids, let alone all the other structures, all have quartz in the blocks. And quartz has a resonance frequency. So I suggested that they could have been levitated to build the structures using the sound frequency. Anyway, this person's fell for the age-old trick. He's wrote, let's see you levitate a blah, blah, blah. And the reason why I say blah, blah, blah is because 100 years ago, if I said, oh, I could move 500 people across the ocean in an aeroplane, people will say, go on then, go on, try it. But what I'm trying to say is technology moves on, and we're talking about an alien race that built these ancient structures. So stop falling for it and start thinking. Adam and Eve versus Adamu. So some people still get mixed up with the Adamu, saying Adamu is actually Adam. It's not. Adamu was an earthling. In other words, it's the first, as a translation, it's the first human that was created by the Anunnaki over in South Africa 300,000 years ago, using a Neanderthal and their own essence as written in their tablets. So that is Adamu. Then you've got Adapa and Titi, which were the offspring off of Enki and one of the descendants of the original Adamu, in other words, a human or Homo sapien. So he had relationships with two women and they gave birth to two children, a boy and girl, Adapa and Titi, Adam and Eve. And that's why we have their story, because Enki was a prince and wrote it all down, as opposed to the poor people over in South Africa. They weren't his direct relationship, so therefore that he